The number one thing that you want to do after deciding to sell your home and buy a next home is deciding about your next home that you want to buy. And a lot of people get confused with this process and they start looking at all type of homes, all locations, all prices. Trust me, that is going to hurt you. That is going to confuse you with the process. What we tell our buyers when they decide to buy a home is pick up 5 must-have for your next home. The things that you can live without them. We call it 5 must-have criteria for our buyers. The things like school districts, the things like price point, amount of bedroom or bathroom, lot size, or so many other things that is important for you and your family. The things that you decide to sell your home and buy the next home. These are huge. These are huge. This can help you to be directed and targeted with your home search. At the end of the day, get the best possible choice for you and your family.
What is a contingency? Well, a contingency, simply put, is one action has to be completed in order for another to be completed. So in a real estate transaction, there are 2 different types of contingencies. One is a financing contingency. Now what that means is that you will have to be approved to purchase a home for the dollar amount in which you have made an offer on it for. If your contract is accepted and for some reason you cannot continue with the process, you're not obligated to stick with the contract to purchase the home at that point. Another part of that is also appraisal. If the house does not meet appraisal, that's another contingency that kind of goes along with financing. The second type of contingency is going to be the sale of one home in order to purchase another. Now you can shop around and put offers in on a house, get an offer accepted, and go ahead and move through with the process. However, if by the date of closing you have not accepted an offer and had a closing on the current house that you own, then you're not obligated to stay with the current contract. That allows you to walk away with no damages incurred.
When looking for your next home, if you're looking online and in person and you don't find exactly what you're looking for, new construction is always an option. You can do what's called a spec home. That's a home that's already built. Maybe there's a little bit of customization involved, but your time frame's a little bit shorter, or you can do what's a fully custom home, which is you're building it from the ground up, fully designing everything. That can take 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, even more if it's going to be a bigger home. So when you're doing that fully custom build that can take 5, 6, 7+ months, it's important to keep referring back to those must-haves, that original list that you made, because sometimes it takes a new construction, a fully custom home to meet your needs. So that's when new construction comes into play, and maybe that's the option for you. And so I don't know how to wrap it up.
So there are a few different options that we have depending on your situation that might work best for you as you're selling and getting into a new home. So the first option would be to have 2 mortgages. So you can keep your current house, buy the new house with a new mortgage, and have 2 at the same time. And then once you move into the new house, get all settled, then you can sell your old house and just use that equity to pay down your new mortgage. The second option that we have would be a bridge loan. So it's a way for you to get your equity out of your current mortgage to put down on the new mortgage before you sell your current house. So we do take out a bridge note with our bank that we have here in town. And it's an interest-only payment, and it allows you to get out that equity portion. And then when you sell your old house, you'll just pay the bridge loan off. So that's definitely a good option if you have a lot of equity in your house and you want to be able to take that out prior to selling it. The third option is maybe you're selling your current house and you don't have a ton of equity in it, so maybe you're going to break even at closing. We do have a down payment assistance program that will help you with the down payment so that you can have the funds to buy your next house and still get out of your existing house and maybe just not making a lot of money off of it. So there's definitely a lot of options. Please feel free to reach out to me and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Do you even know what you want in your first? All right, so the next thing that I want to cover with you is going to be fees. Fees will lead into how much you walk away from the sale of your home with. Now, typically speaking, you're looking at 6% of the sales price going to commissions. The breakdown of commissions would be 3% to the buyer's agent and 3% to the seller's agent. Now, in some situations, that is negotiable. The next thing that you're going to have is a title policy, which we can explain that at a later time. There's also going to be a bunch of other little miscellaneous fees, such as an escrow fee, document prep fees, things like that. Another big one is going to be a home warranty. With the way our market is right now, most buyers are going to want a home warranty paid for by the seller. Just gives them some extra insurance on the property in case something goes wrong. Now, for example, on a $200,000 home, you could expect to spend upwards of $15,000 in expenses throughout the sale of your home.
Well, hey, my name is Ben. This is my wife Tia, and we are in the process of buying a new home. And it's kind of a different scenario. We typically weren't looking for a new home right away, but we found one that we really liked. But our house was not, we weren't really thinking about selling our house. And so we went through the process of having a contingency, and especially when you don't really know the process, it's kind of, could be stressful.
Yeah.
But it ended up not being the worst, you know, it ended up being pretty easy.
Yeah, I think in thinking of it too, like there's a risk involved, because if we don't sell our house, how do we move into the other house? And so one of the things that Courtney was able to work with us on was the contingency that she put in place. Like we can't, you know, all of it in paperwork that in order for us to buy this house, we first have to sell our own. And that kind of gave us some just peace of mind knowing, okay, there's something in place that's protecting us so that in order for us to go and take that next step, you know, our house is going to be taken care of as well.
Well, and for us, we're not looking for any house. We like the house that we found, and so the only reason why we're even doing the contingency is for that purpose. And so, so it's been a great process, and we're excited to see where it goes from here.
All right, let's talk about choosing an agent who's going to represent you in the selling and the buying process. So when it gets to the choosing agent, I honestly believe that you got to choose an agent. First of all, they should be ethical, knowledgeable about the market. That's no question about it. But someone that you actually can connect with them. Someone that you can trust them with the process. This is a big process for you guys.
Choosing someone who is a good communicator, who's responsive, and who's available to you and ready to take care of your needs. There's a lot of parties involved in a contingency situation. You've got buyers and sellers on one side of the deal, buyers and sellers on the other side, different agents that you're working with, different title companies, inspectors, tons of people who are involved in each transaction, and having someone who's going to communicate with all parties is so important. Having someone who's going to communicate with you what's going on in each transaction is so important. So choosing an agent who's going to be responsive, not someone who's not going to return a text for 3 days, is so important.
In our guidance, we will cover some common challenges that will come up in a transaction and how to overcome them, and in the meantime try to save some sanity to you and to us. And so don't hesitate to take that leap and contact us. We have so much more information that we could share with you.
Now you're ready to list your house on the market for sale. Prior to this process, I want you to make sure that you go through the checklist of the items to make sure your house is in the best condition possible for the home buyers to walk through them. We have made a checklist of the items that we think are the most important items for you to go through them and make sure it's done before the house is on the market. If you want to watch this video and also download the PDF file, click the link below, and we think that's going to be huge value for you and your process. Boom. Done.